She developed a habit of recording her life in tapes. And now, these are the evidences for my new investigative case. And today I draw 50 miles to see him. Christian, convict of one among the most famous murders ever in our history. I was very curious.
There was a Saturday evening in winter 2 years back. I was back home after the game and drunk. She was not there at the door that day. She used to hug me there any other day, but not then. She was there in my bed, dead, strangled with her tie. I was numb and lost. I couldn't breathe. I didn't go out for days. I didn't meet anyone, didn't attend phone calls or mails. Sitting there, I would just spend hours staring at myself. I was becoming eccentric and hopeless. I was drinking a lot. Her thoughts wouldn't spare me. Then that day, I found her letters and tapes. She spoke about him. Peter. He killed her. Her letters. I read them over and over. They spoke for her. I could see her eyes. I could hear her voice. She wanted revenge. I followed his car. I saw him parking it there. I got inside and then I waited for him. Yes, I killed him. I killed him with the same tie he used to kill my Maria. I put that around him and pulled harder. He cried. I strangled until his throat burst. I did that for her. And I felt very peaceful.
He'd always liked to come out from the darkness and scare me. He had made many attempts to kill me before. He's totally detached and would only talk about death and murder. I don't want to live here anymore.
PN 517 Christian Alexander was transferred from Central Prison and have been under treatment for over 20 months here in the state mental faculty. He has a chronic killer inside him, and for over 10 years his mental state is not stable. He was always obsessed with death and murder. He has depressions and hallucinations. A story that is being made up over years. He constructed, rewrote an entire chapter in his memory. His actions towards Maria were always abnormal. He was psychic and always tried to scare her. He killed her, strangled her with his tie. After strangling her until her last breath, he collapsed into a kind of extreme euphoria. But later, he was getting obsessed with his guilt of her murder and locked himself inside for days until he found her tapes. He read them over and over. She spoke about the crazy Christian himself. But then his guilt started manipulating his mind. He went into a trance where he created another character in his mind and made him the villain in her tapes. He found revenge would be the decoy for his guilt. Christian wrote her letters himself and convinced his subconscious that Peter was the villain of his story and his murder would be her revenge. He became the lost in his story. He planned and executed a murder in his mind. He felt very peaceful and then he loved her in a reality where his mind created a Maria that he wants.
He was a totally different person in the morning. He said he would take me to a very far place. Today he asked me to dress like a princess and wait for him. Maybe it's time for things to get better. I'm praying hard.
I had my first sitting with Christian Manuel. He was calm and gentle towards me. He didn't have anything more to say from all the reports I had read about him. He was arrested on a phone call to the police, self-stating that he killed his wife's murderer in a car. He created a fake murder and surrendered himself to the police. I couldn't think of him just as a death-obsessed psycho. He was an artist who created a reality through his story. He hid the guilt inside with his pseudo-revenge. After finishing the interrogation, he whispered to my ears, "Death is the only solution for possession." And then he smiled.